Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at with your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah, the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Bryce and Shane here with you today. Episode 192. We are closing in on 200 in short time here.
It'll be a party.
We've planned about planning.
We've planned about
We've planned to plan.
Right.
Something for the 200. I don't
We've
know.
planned to plan the planning.
Just plan to plan. Plan.
I think you need to say plan a couple more times.
Plan.
So, I don't know if anyone wants to pay us copious amounts of money and do stuff on 200. We're listening. So,
What kind of stuff?
and what kind of money are we talking about here? Bryce and Shane, we're going to get to we're going to try to argue here again. We tried to argue last week and it didn't go
Get some better topics
so
this week.
hot, but
Okay.
nothing beats a good argument. So.
Speaking of weird, crazy things, did you guys know who Alex Jones is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Did you see the trial that he's been in?
yeah.
a little bit.
Did you see that thing that his lawyers did?
I don't know about that.
They didn't keep
Oh,
his phone.
They sent the entire
Yeah.
record
Yeah.
to the other lawyer by accident.
Yeah. Whoops.
And then they were like, nah, it's okay. Even though there was a bunch of lies in it. So it was funny.
It is what it is.
But anyways, the first question on our argument topic is being really short is better than being really tall.
Yeah, I wonder who picked that one.
No, it's not.
Disagree.
Being like averagely short is better than
What
being
is
really tall?
averagely short? Okay, what are we considering to be tall versus short? What's the marker for? And we're talking about for men here, right?
Oh, yeah, for men.
Because that's what we are. Not because we have anything. We have nothing against
We
women.
can
against
talk about
women.
what we know. That's why.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so
What do you know?
what do I know? I think being short.
What's the average male in North America? Like 5'10"?
I bet you it's like 5'7" or 5'8".
Holy
No,
smoke.
it's not that. You think I'm average?
You're 5'7"?
In a lot of ways, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like.
You thought I was 5'5"?
No, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say like 5'6" or 5'7".
Okay, so let's say, just to make it easier, let's say like short is under 5'6" and tall is over 6.
Over
feet.
like 6'4".
And in between is just like no man's land.
My argument for being short all comes from Instagram, though. So the good thing
What?
about being short is if everybody else is tall around you, you look better to them because they have a better angle looking at you.
This is, yeah.
While every tall person looks a little ugly.
That's probably true. Like, I'm sure it's not black and white. Like, there's a pro for being short, and then the rest of them are cons, and then for being tall, they're mostly. But like, if we're talking like overall,
You can get in any door. You don't have to
tall.
worry about
Except-
ever bumping your
except
head.
if the door is to a kiddie ride
Yeah.
at Disneyland.
Okay, yes.
You're like, don't meet the height requirement.
But if you're tall, everybody can see you from like in a crowd, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, why
you're
would
easy to
why
find.
would you want that?
That's good
Maybe
because
you want to
like
be found.
What?
imagine there's like a swarm of people and like your family's trying to find you or something, or
Yeah, and
like
you're,
you're
like,
traveling.
Dodging in between legs because you're
Yeah,
Like,
so-
survive. There's more of you to step on if
I
you're
don't
on
know,
the ground.
man. I don't like. I'm 6 foot. Like I pushing 6'3". I feel like I'm on the backside of shrinking now. I feel like I was up to 6'3". Now I just put 6'2" on things because I think I got to like 6'2" and 3/4. I was like, I'm 6'3", and then it's like next time I measure it's 6'2.5". I was like, I think I'm just 6'2" now.
Yeah.
I can't recall one time in my life where I was like, I wish I was shorter.
Oh, that's fair.
But have
That's
you ever
fair.
wished you were taller?
I've never wished I was taller.
Really?
Never. I'm like 5'7".
I'm gonna have to start putting things on taller shelves.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the thing. It's easy for me to get taller. I can just.
We can duck.
Can you?
I can duck.
What?
Yeah.
I can bend my knees.
But
I
like
can
for really tall
hinge my
people,
hips.
for really
I
tall
can-
people, isn't that a problem? Where if like,
So
like where
I would.
you put stuff on the highest spots, you don't tend to put stuff really low.
Like I wouldn't want to be like abnormally tall.
Yeah.
Like if you were like,
I wouldn't want like
Yao
unless I'm
Ming.
playing in the NBA.
Like you're
I
Yao
don't want to
Ming.
be 7'3", unless it's like gonna make me money through playing basketball. Then okay, but I don't want to just be an average dude at 7'3" having to duck through doorways. then I agree. Sure, I'd rather be a little bit shorter, but still not 5'3". Like,
Yeah.
goodness, have some self-respect.
If you're under 5 feet, you get to have a handicap placard. You could park it
Is that
right at the
a true
front.
thing?
Yeah, it is true.
That is not
if
a
you're
true thing.
under 5 feet, look it up. You tell me.
So then you just answered your own question there. If they consider being too short a disability, then
But when you're
I
too,
think
like, who's that? There was that giant in Saskatchewan. He died really young because he was too tall.
who, the giant from Willowbunch? The
Yeah.
Willowbunch giant?
Yeah, I think he was
Andre-
only 26.
Whatever his name was? Yeah. He's pretty close to home. I saw his statue is awful looking.
It's. I hope he didn't
know.
see. I told you,
First time
tall
for
people
that.
are ugly.
Yeah. That's true. Maybe that's the reason. What's the next one? Let's try another
Okay,
one.
what's the next one?
That was
Tap.
good though.
Tap
I'm
water.
fact checking you, Bryce. That's a lie.
Is it?
Is height a qualifying condition for a disabled parking permit? No, it is not.
Ah.
You can't just come on here and make shit up for
I
you.
can actually. I did actually.
That's good. That's what we usually do.
That's what
so.
Google's for. So.
Now we have like someone who can do it all the time.
Yeah, we could until we
Fact
got a
checker.
fact checker.
Tap water is just as good as bottled water.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean,
in taste, like just or like good for you. What do they say? How do you
Doesn't
even?
say.
I'd qualify it as taste.
Taste wise. Let's go with taste. I think tap water is just fine.
Where do you?
I will
like,
drink tap water.
I
Yeah.
think it's just fine too. But don't you find it weird when you go to a different city that you're not from and water tastes weird to you? Just because tap water from every place comes from different sources, whereas bottled
Yeah.
waters consistently tastes like nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would.
Bottled water just tastes wrong. You know.
I
Like,
think bottled
but-
water just doesn't
So
taste like
he-
anything.
You know what? I agree that it's probably 100% mental, but bottled water to me, the reason why I like it more is because it's always going to be cold. I don't drink warm bottled water, but yet
Yeah.
tap water is always warm
Right.
or like mildly cool.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
And when I think of bottled water, I think of like cold, refreshing bottled water, and that's what tips the scale for me.
When I think of bottled water, I think of like the bottle of water that's been sitting in my car for like a month in the
Oh, yeah,
sun.
that's not the one that,
That you'll grab when you're really thirsty
Yeah.
and you open it up. It's like tea. It's so hot.
So I'm a big ice guy. Like I want my drinks
Oh.
cold. We just talked about this. You brought a bottle of Coke
Yeah.
in. I was like, oh, this is perfect because it had an iceberg in it,
Do you have an ice maker?
in like built into my fridge. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Crushed
We
ice?
bought my daughter for Christmas last year an ice maker
An
because
ice
she likes
maker?
ice so much.
I'd do
Only
that, yeah.
your daughter would be like, yep, that's what I
Yeah,
want.
she's like, that's what I want. And then she's like, I want a snack, and she goes and gets ice.
But good for her though. That's like ice and drinks is key. My wife
We make so much now.
anti ice and drinks.
Shut up.
She
Really?
hates it. Unless it's gonna be like a super warm drink, then she'll take a few cubes reluctantly. But she's like, it's too cold in the teeth. And I was like, then muppet your teeth.
Yeah.
Like drink like
the Muppet
drink like
move.
with your lip over
Use
your
a
teeth.
straw.
She's like, you don't do that. I was like, well, I kind of do. Like, I don't go into it like, like fucking.
Yeah.
I'm not smiling when I'm drinking. Like,
Dip my teeth into ice
yeah,
cold water. all
that's
the
like,
time.
come on, think about it before you take that sip,
Yeah.
and then it's just fine.
I mean, I don't blame her though. If you guys have seen any of those like ice makers in certain like fast food restaurants and like some restaurants
Oh, it's
that
the
are,
germ thing?
it's like I don't like ice from fast food restaurants because it's like how often do they actually clean it? And
Right.
I've seen what dirty ice makers look like.
Yeah, they're
fair.
gross.
But when you go to A&W and they don't have ice makers, they don't put ice in their drinks.
Yeah.
That's a piss off. If you're in the store, they freeze their mugs.
Yeah, they frost the mud, but like
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a solution. But when you're in the drive-through,
They don't
just
frost
give you
my
a
cardboard.
hot paper wax cup and put your drink in. You're like, this is such shit.
And don't get me started on paper straws.
yeah.
Oh, the worst.
God.
Go do one more card. We'll do one more. Paper straws. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Paper
dumbest thing.
Slurpee straws are terrible. I had
Paper
one the
straws
other day.
poked through plastic lids. Like, come on, if you're gonna make something paper, make it the lid.
Okay, here's the last one. It's okay to have the air conditioning on and the windows open in the car.
If you want your gas mileage to be shit, I mean,
See? Some people, I like it. I prefer, like, I think it's okay because,
does it
like,
do anything though?
well, when I open the window, it's not for, I'm not trying to cool myself down.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
It's
feel
like, it's an effect thing.
right. It's like it's
Ambiance.
That's the poor man's. That's the poor man's convertible, right? there. So roll
exactly,
the windows
right?
down. I agree. I like it because it's like then you can hear the outside and you get a little breeze and whatever. But it's not to cool me off necessarily. So yeah, maybe I'm still pumping the AC. Mythbusters disproved that running the air conditioner in your vehicle actually affects your gas mileage whatsoever.
Oh, there you go. Fact checking the fact checker.
Yeah, see?
See?
Endless. They also disproved the idea that having your tailgate up in a truck reduces your gas mileage. I think they disproved that one. They did the thing for sure. I believe what they found out was that they disproved it. But the air conditioner thing was real. They were like, there's no difference, turns out. So feel free to blast away.
But that's because it's not like temperature control. It's not like in your house where like the air conditioner only turns on at 21 degrees to get your house to 21 degrees, right? You just turn the air conditioner on max.
Yeah, I just thought it was because it had to kick on the compressor in your car, so it would like use up more.
Oh,
What does your house
horsepower.
get for fuel mileage?
pretty good actually.
Is it pretty good?
I don't actually have to spend any fuel on my house.
Yeah, well,
So.
that's good. That's good.
That I just want one more question.
Okay.
Then about that.
Sure.
Are you the type of people that like to
Who's you people?
you and Kyler
Who are you calling you people?
use people? Are you like all on or all off with the fans,
Oh,
or
yeah.
are you like you'll do the gradual thing?
Nope.
I said it like
I
2/3.
hate that.
Like,
Piss
if it's-
around. Get in or get out. I'm a man of extremes. I've had this conversation with people in my vehicle before. There's no you might as well eliminate the whole middle range of my in my vehicle. If I'm hot, I'm going full blast AC till I'm not hot anymore. And if I'm cold, it's full blast heat.
So
There's
how
no
do you even control that?
Yeah, don't you get headaches?
by turning it on and off. Yeah, I do get headaches. Not in my vehicle though.
Like when the cold air is blowing right on your face, like I get such a bad headache. Like I can never crank it max.
I love
So
that. I
you-
will like
You want to know
as cold as possible.
where else I'm an all in or all out guy? And this comes up with my wife again. Easy.
It's not that type of podcast.
So, however big of a bite I put on my fork is what's going in my mouth.
So if you
It doesn't
twirl
matter.
too much spaghetti, it's
Right.
over.
There's no going back. If you miscalculate, that's your problem now. So
Do you use small utensils then?
No.
No.
no. But where this comes up is my wife. I've never seen her take a full bite of ice cream off a spoon in my life. Ever. It doesn't matter how much I put on there. When I give it to her,
God.
she will top lip drag half the ice cream off the spoon every time.
That's like the soup thing, right?
I guess.
Like, are you the type of person that like drags your teeth across the soup spoon?
No, I'm not dragging. I'm not a tooth dragger. Are you kidding? But I'm gonna clean the spoon off all the way. And what drives me nuts is when you go to somewhere that has disposable cutlery that has like too deep of a spoon that you can't even get. Who made those?
yeah, right.
Where
I
you can't
hate
even get your
those
lip
spoons.
in. Like you can't even clean the spoon off. It's like a forced partial bite. That's like those type of businesses should go out of business.
Whoa.
But anyway, my wife, it's like, and she's like, well, because it's cold in the teeth. It's like, yeah, but I gave you I gave you the equivalent of a full tablespoon in the last bite. You dragged off half of it. So this time I scoot you half of a tablespoon and you dragged off half of that. What is your ideal bite size? Her ideal bite size is just half of what's on the spoon, which makes no sense. Clean the spoon or fork off in one bite. There's no going back. If you're not going to have it all, leave it in the bowl. Right? Tell me I have an argument here.
I think you have an argument here.
Perfect. In today's episode,
Okay.
let's just end it here. That was fun.
That was good.
Today's episode, we're talking about what did we end up with? 15 things.
Brought to you by plastic retainers for your Shane's wife so she can eat the whole spoon.
She should just eat with straws from now on.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't. 15 things contractors should do that they're afraid to do.
Yeah. Wusses.
Like eating the whole spaghetti off the fork.
Just take it. You took it.
Obviously,
Obviously,
how does she eat sushi?
she doesn't, apparently.
Yeah, who?
Does she take half bites of sushi?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think she
That's
might.
a problem.
Oh my god,
That's a problem.
Do you not like
You cram it
you
in your
full
mouth.
piece
Yeah.
face sushi? Like there's
The
only
whole
one way.
thing goes in your mouth.
You can't bite
You
it, 'cause
can't
then
bite
you create
it
a
in half
mess.
because then how are you gonna pick it up afterwards? It falls apart. You
Right.
compromise the structural integrity of the sushi.
Structural integrity of the
Structural
sushi.
integrity. Nobody considers structure in sushi. But
Not when they're eating it.
but that's what the seaweed wrap is there for. It's
Yeah.
to hold it all together. You bite that in half, you got nothing, kids. Number one.
So don't be scared.
Don't be scared to take a full bite. Doesn't matter how tall you are. Take
Doesn't
a full
matter how
bite.
tall you are. Take a full bite.
It's funny they don't make smaller mouth sushi. You know, like
Yeah, you'd think it'd save on cost.
right?
You probably
Like-
charge the same amount.
Kids bite size or like under 5'6" size sushis. Ugh. 15 things contractors should do that they're afraid to do. Number 1, charge for estimates.
Charge for estimates. This I feel like we are a broken record on this one.
Yeah, we are. I feel bad even saying it again, but here it is. So I don't. What most contracting operations are doing now, the ones that are charging, is they're charging to do a full consultation. Like if the client's expecting you to come to their house, spend time with them, teach them things, talk through the project, go back, figure out a quote for them, potentially do a drawing, potentially do a rendering, potentially do a full takeoff, price out materials, put together a proposal, deliver it back, follow up. If they're expecting all of that, that's
a
when
lot
guys-
of things.
It is a lot. It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of things.
A lot of, I don't want to say guys, but a lot of people that are contractors are starting to clue into being like, that's a significant sunk cost for me.
Yeah.
That we're not recouping. And we're doing these over and over and over again. And our close rate is 15%, which is respectable. But what happens with the 85 you're not getting? How much time are you spending those 85% that you're not getting? A lot of time.
Are you tracking that too? Right? Like that's the other thing. If you were to track that, if you want concrete proof that you're losing money by not charging for estimates, track how many estimates you do and the amount of time you put into each of them, and then put that against your profit at the end of the year. Give
Right.
yourself an hourly wage for that.
Turns out you're making $4 an hour.
Exactly.
So charge for those full consultations. If you want to give ballpark quotes, that's a different story. If somebody wants to phone and be like, hey, how much for my deck? And if you can get enough information from them on that phone call to be like, oh, okay, well, it's 380 square feet and there's a set of stairs this big, you can safely say this is going to be $32,000 roughly, or $30,000 give or take. As long as you are communicating thoroughly that this is a ballpark
It's not what it's going to be.
that will be different depending on their finishings, what they select for materials, depending on the style or the level of finished detail they might want, depending on what the permit in their jurisdiction is going to cost, depending on a wild number of factors.
Yep.
It can change, but at least you're giving them a ballpark to wrap their head around. It might be 36, it might be 28, but give them a ballpark. That's fine. We're not saying charge for that.
Right.
But again, if they're expecting you to invest 6 hours of your time into helping them to the point of giving them an accurate quote,
Do you think you should
then you should be recouping some of your time.
Do you think you should even do those ballpark quotes though?
They're tricky.
That's the question to me. It's
Yes,
like,
I do. If you think you can be accurate with them, because if you can't be at least like reasonably accurate with them, then you're just going to get yourself in trouble. And the reason I say over communicate it is because people will hear what they want to hear. And if you told them 30 on the phone and then you deliver a quote and it's 34, almost guaranteed they're going to say, but you said 30.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but I also said that was a ballpark and it could vary up to 25% or however you want to word it. But maybe even when you deliver that quote, maybe you should deliver it in like even in an email or in writing or something to say like, this is a ballpark. Please understand this. Here's the reasons why this might change or whatever. Like cover your butt a little bit. But anyway, so I don't think like that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're giving you a ballpark based on information you can provide over the phone. But if it needs to go beyond that, where there's a bunch of time invested into doing that consultation and providing that detailed quote, then they're charging an upfront fee for that. And many of them that are then offering to apply that as a deposit against the project if you do go ahead with them. So they're going to charge maybe $100, $200, whatever the number is, $400, whatever. You pick the number that works for you. And if that customer says, yeah, I'll go ahead with it, it's like, sounds good. I'll apply your $400 against what your total bill is going to be at the end. And so that's an easy way to kind of bypass some hesitancy in that. Like they don't feel like they're, many people are just fine with paying it. They understand it. They understand your time is valuable. They want a legit quote. They're not just kicking tires. But the reason for doing this is to avoid the ones that are kicking tires and wasting your time, that have no intention of actually even building a deck this year. They're just trying to feel out what this is going to be. Or they're going to take you all the work you've put into it and go to somebody else and find them to try to do it cheaper using all the work and time you spent. So this just helps to weed out, all of a sudden your close rate goes from 15 to 90 because You're only talking to the people who value your time and are ready to actually build.
Mm-hmm.
So it's scary. They're afraid to do it because it's like, well, then my calls are going to go from 40 a week to 10 a week. Yeah, they might.
Yep.
But you're still going to win 9 jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way. So
yeah.
it's not that scary.
I mean, I might argue that maybe you should only do charged estimates. Like, just be pretty strict on it because that's the type of client that everybody wants. And so why entertain the person that just wants a ballpark quote?
Sure. It's just, it doesn't cost you anything to say it over the phone if they
No,
want, right?
it
if
doesn't.
they just, so up to you if you want, but the whole like giving away your time for free is what we're after here.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to start doing that because it is scary. People are afraid they're going to lose business. You're not.
You're not.
Anybody who's ever done it has never lost business, and they've all come back saying, this is the best thing I ever did. I have so much more time now. I'm as busy as I ever was, if not more. The projects I'm getting are bigger, better projects. I'm just not having to deal with all the tire kicking and the people that were wasting time before. So
Exactly.
there you go. Number 2, trusting your people. So trusting your crew and getting off the tools yourself. It's a hard transition to make for a guy or a gal who started out themselves, was always like on hand to control their quality. They want to make sure that everything is done perfectly and to their standard, and it's hard to pass that trust over to somebody else. However, if you ever want to have the ability to scale your business, you have to at some point get off being the hands-on person all the time.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
so it's scary for a couple of reasons. One, you don't feel like you can trust somebody to hold up your standard of quality. And 2, it's scary to bring on a full-time employee and pay them when you're not used to paying somebody good money to do that project because you always did it yourself. You made that money.
Yep.
And when you go to do this, you have to find somebody and pay them before you reap the benefits of having
Yeah.
yourself off the tools. So it's like, oh boy, I hope the money comes some point. So it is scary
It's very scary.
for a couple of reasons. So
But in the end, I think that one's worth it quite a bit because then you're not working in the business anymore. You're actually working on the business.
right,
It's a business now.
and that's when the true growth is going to happen.
Yep.
You're not going to grow and this is not. We're not saying you have to do this. If you want to stay a single crew and you want to be on the tools and that's your passion, and that's what you enjoy, whatever else, and it's working, you're making a good living, then fine, do that. Just saying, if you want to grow beyond that, you have to do this step.
Or
Regardless
I
how
mean,
scary it
the
is.
other thing you can do though is you could hire someone to do the other stuff, to do the business part.
Sure, yeah, you could get
It's
the people in
tougher.
there. Yeah,
It's much tougher.
skipping ahead to number 3 here almost, but
Sorry.
but you still can't scale to multiple crews then if you want to do that. If you still want to at some point, if you want to go to multiple crews and be doubling the income and tripling the income
Okay.
by having, congruent crews working on projects at the same time, then at some point you can't be on all the job sites. You have to
Right.
eventually at some point put your trust into somebody else to be the craftsman on those job sites.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to like choosing the right people and making sure they're trained and making sure your expectations are clear, and this can all work. Number 3 is hiring those extra people.
Hiring extra people.
So we'd put down like the number one person I'd look for is a bookkeeper, a bookkeeper, accountant, or a salesperson, but anybody who can do things more efficiently than you can do them
Right.
is somebody you should consider hiring.
Right.
If you want to be the guy in the tools building beautiful decks, then you shouldn't be wasting your time trying to do books that you're not good at.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to necessarily hire a bookkeeper on full time. There's plenty of subcontracted bookkeepers out there. Hire one. Yes, it's scary. Yes, they're going to charge you whatever they're charging you. You might get one for $20 an hour. You might get one for $30 an hour. Regardless, what are you charging per hour?
Right.
$100 an hour. Okay. So if you can go make $100 an hour while you're paying the bookkeeper $25 an hour, you're way further ahead than
Or just
trying to do that work yourself, not making money.
build that into the cost for next year.
Yeah.
Just like charge $110 an hour.
Yep.
Right?
But get those people. And
Get
if you're
those
not
people.
if you're not a good salesperson, which some guys just aren't, some guys are, they love that part of the process, keep it if you want. But if you are wanting to really scale the business again and you want to be on the tools and you want to be touching the projects and having the final say and all that, and you don't want to leave that part out, well then hire somebody to do your sales for you then. And that way things are happening even when you're out there working. Like you're not having to do all your sales stuff
Yeah.
in the middle of the night anymore and on the weekends. You can build, you can like have more manageable hours and then have somebody focused on all the sales and they'll do a better job than you.
All of these things save you time.
Right. And it's not because they won't do a better job than you because because they're better at sales than you necessarily. They'll do it better than you because it's that's all they're focused on.
It's the one thing they
For
do.
the customer,
Yep.
they're going to be more available, more attentive, quicker to respond, quicker to get the quotes turned around, all that stuff, because they're doing this not for the 8 hours a day that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Not
And if you're
4 hours at night when you're burnt out already.
charging for estimates, then they are getting paid.
Right.
That salesperson is getting paid.
Covering your costs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4 is specializing in decks only. Another scary thing that guys are scared to do because they feel like the only way that they've kept their schedule full is by taking anything that comes to them.
I can build.
And so, yeah, it's like somebody wants a bathroom done. Yeah, sounds good. Somebody wants a basement done. Sure. So
Just do decks.
if you don't enjoy doing those projects and it's not your bread and butter and you struggle the most with those and those ones probably aren't the most profitable for you, switch to specializing in decks. This is another one where it's scary for a lot of guys to do, girls to do, and then once they do it, they look back and be like, "Man, I wish I would have done that sooner."
Yeah.
Absolutely don't regret it. But everybody's scared to do it first
what
for
they
the
like
same
to do.
reason as the charging.
Yeah.
They're like, it's going to result in less work. Not necessarily, because there's a lot of people out there that would rather build a company that just does decks than general renovation companies.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the deck guy, you're going to get some calls that your general renovation guy that you were before wasn't going to get to begin with.
Well, they're not even going to find that guy. That's the other thing.
Right.
You have to think about finding the general contractor guy, because all his services say are general contracting services.
Yeah.
And how many other people are doing that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. A ton.
Yeah, if you choose that niche and you focus on it, you can rise to the top of that niche category a lot easier than just getting lost in a sea of general handymen.
Yeah.
Handy people.
Mm.
Handy people? Handy persons?
Peoples.
Number 5, hiring a marketing company.
Yeah.
So this is one where most contractors that build decks are in it because they like building decks, not because they want to be spending time
Marketing.
earning new leads or marketing or playing on social media, whatever. So it's kind of related to number 3, where it's like outsource the things that you don't do well or don't understand or can't be efficient with to companies who do those things well. And, well, feels like a good time to plug ourselves and say that we're doing this.
I didn't want to push that too hard. I was just gonna let it ride.
So
We do that.
we were contractors before. I was a bit of a different breed because I was more of a marketing guy in my background than I didn't take trade at school. I took marketing at school. So this was
Right.
already in my wheelhouse. I understood it, whatever. But most of the contractors that walk through our doors or that we just know in the industry are not. They did go through a trade school potentially, or they were raised in a construction environment, or they got into it that way. They don't have that background in business necessarily in marketing. So we've done our own social media and I think garnered a fairly decent reputation for it here. And now we have our Tuds Media team, of which you guys are, Bryce, Kyler, and Jacob, that formed our Tuds Media. That's now doing all this stuff for contractors. So we're in the industry. You guys have learned all about the products and how to market these different, like this industry specifically. And we're handling all sorts of things from web design to search engine optimization to social media content management to strategy to everything that you need to kind of like earn new leads. And it's not just us. It might be a local company you can work with as well.
Yeah,
But if
exactly.
you want to
It
work
doesn't
with
have to be
us,
us.
shoot us a message because we're available to do it. All of this stuff can be done from afar.
Yes.
Like we're working with guys in the States. We don't have to be on site all the time. We can do a lot of this management stuff from afar. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's nice to be on site to get some pictures, but maybe you can do that.
Video and stuff you will
Sure.
probably need to be on site, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Some of it
98% of it is.
Some of it would be required. Sometimes we can just get the content from you or have somebody else shoot the content there and send it up, or we can come down or whatever. Depending, we can work with all budgets. So can any marketing company. You can carve out and have them do the services that you might need them to do.
Yeah, and there's you don't have to take it all at once either.
Yeah.
Start small.
But if you're looking for some badass mother you want to handle your stuff, well, I don't know. I think you guys are pretty badass.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Shane.
Number 6, capture your overhead in your price. I don't know. This is something that they're afraid to do. I think it's more something they don't understand. Or they're ignorant to. Not ignorant as in they're ignorant people. That they're ignorant that they're not aware of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think of sometimes. But, I mean, it goes along with, charging for your estimates. Charge what you're worth, because what's happening is you're forgetting parts of your business that you're not charging for.
100%. Early on, when guys are starting out and girls are starting out, and they, you know, if they're not well versed in business, they can tend to walk into this thing and be like, well, what do I want to make an hour? Well, I'd like to make $30 an hour. So they charge $30 an hour.
Yeah. Right.
They haven't left anything in there for the cost of running their business or a profit on top.
Well, you're not making $30 an hour at that point.
Not even close.
Nope.
And
Not
so
even close.
The first step is to make sure you have the overhead captured in there. What does it cost to run your business? What does it cost to fuel your truck? What does it cost? Did you buy a trailer? What does it cost to run that trailer? What's the cost of your computer? What's the cost of running that? Are you leasing space out of your house? Are you leasing space out of an office? Do you have employees? Do you have like all these insurances and all this stuff is like carves into the money you're making heavily.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make sure you're charging above and beyond to capture the overhead in your price, or else you're out of business in like 2 years tops.
Yeah. I mean,
like you can only float that for so long and pretend it's not there.
but like, and you don't have to show the customer this though. You just have to build this into your price.
Yeah, they don't
But
necessarily need to see the breakdown. You don't need to say like, this is
what I pay for my water.
Over-
This is what I pay for my gas.
water fee, fuel. But we were
Took me
talking about this
5
earlier
minutes
today.
to walk from the truck to the house, so I'm going to charge you for that.
We were talking about this earlier today about different businesses that do break down all these fees, and it feels scammy. We were talking about car dealerships. It's like you go to buy a new car, and it's like cars, $50,000 sounds good. You sit down, and it's like here's the final price, 63. And it's like how I get that the taxes brought that to 50, whatever. But how did we get the rest of the way? Well, there's an administration fee, and there's a dealer fee, and there's this fuel surcharge and an air conditioning surcharge, and
There's a little bit of everything.
and I don't know, whatever, a transportation charge, and like all these things. And it's like, geez, can you just put that in the price? Like, I feel like you're nickel and diming me with fees now.
But for a business owner, it's definitely good to break it down for yourself.
Yes, you need to understand.
Put that into your, like, somewhere into your cost as a line item.
That's right. And number 7 is don't be afraid of profit. A lot of people feel like profit's a dirty word. It's like, it's a capitalist word.
Profit.
Right? But you have to be able to make a profit. What are we doing this for? Sure, it's to scratch your itch and like live your passion kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to make a living and you have to have a profit. What happens if you don't have profit and your business has a down year?
Yeah.
You have no rainy day fund if you don't have a profit.
Well, your business doesn't survive, right?
Right. The business goes out. What happens?
You might survive.
What
You can get
happens
another
when
job.
you need to, like, what if you didn't calculate into your overhead that you need to replace a trailer or add a second crew or something? Well, that's like some things are gonna have to come out of your profit. So don't be afraid to add a profit onto that as well. So those two back to back.
Add a profit. Like, that's the other thing. Like, take what you normally charge and throw a profit line on there and be like 20%.
Yep.
Because all that stuff that you calculated, that's just costs of running the business, including paying yourself.
Yep. And if you run into customers who are going to have an issue with you making a profit,
Right.
Start charging for your estimates, and those ones won't call you anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It shouldn't be a dirty word. Now, if you're making gross profits, if you're like, you were in the job and then it's like you're supposed to start tomorrow, but you took off to the Maldives for it's like whatever, you're just like flaunting it all over the place. You
Right.
whip up there with Lamborghinis pulling trailers. Well, maybe a little excessive, but don't be afraid to make a bit of profit.
Man,
Whatever you need to make.
that'd be a dope work truck. Imagine if you could pull a trailer with the Lamborghini.
Well, don't say it can't be done.
There's no trunk space, so I had to just pull this trailer around with me.
You have an idea how hard it is to put a table saw in a Lamborghini? Number 8, this one's going to be controversial. Break down your price for your customer. So I don't believe that you need to break it down to line item pricing for your customer. But what I always find interesting is that there seems to be this brotherhood, sisterhood of contractors where it's like, if a customer ever inquires about what's included in that price or a breakdown of the price, that they all just be like, red flag, the price to do it is this and the price to not's 0. So your choice, I ain't breaking down shit. And that seems to be the attitude that people have. Why are they asking for a breakdown of the price? Would be my thing. There certainly is the scenario where they're being super noisy and they're about to try to nickel and dime you down, and that's why they're asking for it. If
I
that's
saw your
the
guy
vibe
sleeping here, so can't pay that.
If that's the vibe you're getting from them, is that they're doing it to be cheap and to screw you out of it, then fine, run. You should run. But maybe they just don't understand the scope of the work that's being included. Maybe they don't understand. Maybe they're looking to save money somewhere and they would like to know what they can take out of the project to meet their own budget.
Mhm.
But if you give them a lump sum, they're like, well, I don't know if maybe we take out maybe we don't do the stair style that way.
How am I
Maybe we
supposed
take the
to-
lights out
yeah.
for now. Maybe I don't do the kitchen. But without knowing how it's broken down, maybe that's all they're asking for.
Right.
So I'm not saying you even have to do it. I'm saying don't be afraid of the question if somebody not pushes back, but some customer asks for you to kind of break down what's included. Cool your jets a little bit and think about what they're asking and
Yeah.
try to solve the problem without just going and getting your defenses up right away and being like, oh, this guy is just trying to screw me.
A little bit of breakdown, though, I think, is where you need to be.
I think
like,
a
you
little
need
bit
to
of
be in the
breakdown.
middle.
Yeah, exactly. I think a little bit of breakdown can avoid
right
the
off the bat.
situation altogether.
Labor, materials, extras.
Here's
Something like that.
Here's what the kitchenette area
even
is
that.
going to cost.
Yeah.
Here's what the lighting package is. Here's what the whatever. If you just break it down to like a somewhat high level breakdown, at least they can understand roughly where the money's going. Not enough to like be trying to like nickel and dime you or do it themselves or whatever they're trying to do. But at least they know, like, you know what, the budget's not there. The lighting package looks like it's worth $4,000. Let's cut that for now. We'll do that later.
Right.
Maybe that's all they're after.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of the question. Number 9, take time off for you and your family.
Especially during the season.
Yeah,
We
more
are
during the season than
winding
anything.
down.
Yeah, no, we're not, Bryce.
I mean, it is August 26th. I mean, that's the problem with having a birthday in August.
It's like basically spring.
The end.
Basically spring.
Our kids are going back to school next week.
You know what, though? I agree with you that as far as dates go and norms, that this is the back half of summer, and it is
Especially
winding
where
down.
it could snow.
Not yet. This year, this does not feel like late summer right now.
No, it's pretty hot out.
It feels like middle of summer. The weather's good now. It was such a late start to the spring. This like we're busier now than we were in the spring.
Yep.
It just feels like the whole season kind of shifted back a little bit. I had heard when I was up in Saskatoon on the radio there, they were saying that the forecast for September was looking like hot and good. I was like, you know what? We're just having a late summer this year.
Yep.
So the date is late, yep, but the season itself, it feels young.
It
Feels young. At least middle-aged.
It's young at heart.
But take time off. And so we are talking about in the middle of the season. And it's hard for contractors to want to do that because in their head, if they ain't working, they're losing money.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, I can't take time off in my busy season.
Yep.
I was guilty of this. Even when I was working here, I was guilty of this for the first number of years. I never took a vacation in the summer for probably 5 or 6 years working at the store because I was afraid to. Wade, gone all the time.
I mean, he's not even here now. Like, guy can't even show up for one podcast.
Right? And I've gotten to the point now because I feel comfortable that we have the people in place. That's why I feel comfortable now.
Yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable before because I was still if one person was gone, customer experience was impacted. It's like now we were shorthanded. Now we have a team where it's like the day-to-day operations are fine whether I'm here or not. I don't need to be here. If I'm gone for a vacation, it's okay. Right? So that's a different story. But even if that's not the case, you need to be able to carve some time in. Schedule it in. In the middle of summer, maybe you need a week off to go recharge your batteries, make sure your wife and kids aren't being neglected. Your people might need, if you guys are going hard all summer and it's hot as hell and you're putting in 40, 50, 60 hours a week,
Yep.
break in the middle is probably not a bad thing. You might come back and be more productive.
Right.
You might not lose out on as much as you thought.
Yep.
But certainly the spirits and the culture will be a little bit better if you do
It's
allow yourselves to take that break.
And so you work an extra week into the fall or the winter before you usually
Sure.
take time off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well,
Yeah. But even
it's going to be nicer
some
than
people
any
will
way
go-
to work.
some people go 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because it's like it's summer and make hay while the sun shines. Yeah, well, maybe you should take weekends for yourself.
Yeah.
Or at least a weekend day. Something.
Something.
Claw back something. Don't be afraid of it. Number 10, same thing. Schedule, well, not same thing,
This
but
was
same,
only
same fear.
this was only 10 points. I just want to note that when we started this
You left
podcast,
for
it was
10
only
minutes,
10
that's
points,
why.
and then I left. Now it's 14.
No. You were here for the whole time. We sat down. We had 15. You left because you're having phone not answering
Phone
issues.
not answering issues.
Number 10, schedule admin days / non-billable days. So this is another thing that for the same fear as number 9 is like if I ain't out in the field building stuff, I'm not making money.
This is how you make
Sure.
money.
But if you ain't taking these days to do your admin stuff and your estimates and all your other stuff, then you're doing that in the middle of the bloody night
Yeah.
or on the weekend when you're supposed to be spending time with your family and you're working too much.
You're losing
So-
money, really.
Probably. So take a day off, schedule it in to catch up on that stuff frequently. Don't leave it all till the very end of the year and then try to catch up all your books and catch up all your stuff at the end of the year and whatever. It's good to take this time if you don't have a person for it, to take that time for yourself.
And it's a good day for you to do like consultations and, you know, like go do some of those quotes relaxed rather than all bent up after a work day.
Yeah. And it just helps you to stay on top of the business as things are happening, not learning at the end. It's like, oh shit, I've been losing money all year. Would have been nice to know that on the Friday after I started. So number 11, hire a business coach or a consultant. So
this is a tough one, I think.
This is a tough one. It's a scary thing to do. The reason I say is because we said before that a lot of contractors aren't well versed on the business side of things. And this is also a scary thing to do because sometimes they can be expensive. But if you get out of it what you're supposed to get out of it, you will benefit forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You spend that money once or twice or maybe over a prolonged period of time, whatever. But then your business is more well run and more profitable and everything for the rest of its existence.
Yep.
Because you invested in it for a year.
The teach a man how to fish thing, right?
Teach a man how to fish.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's a scary thing to do because you're like, oh, if I hire a business coach, then I'm going to have to pay them thousands of dollars and then I have to take time off.
What's the ROI on it, right? Like,
couple fears. Yeah, you can't
quantify
say
that.
like, oh, if I spend $12,000 on a business coach, then that's going to make me $100,000 more. But you can't like, will it make more? Yeah, you will. It's not quantifiable. Yeah. But if you run a better business, you will run a better business.
You will run a bit. And the nice thing I think about business coaches too is that, like, yeah, they're expensive, but they tend to keep you accountable.
Yes, that's a big part of it too. Yeah.
It's like go ahead.
If you like spend all that money on it, you're gonna prove to yourself that like you're in it for the long haul, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So this is also something that we can offer as well through Ted's Media because we do. So we a while back did this. We went down the path of looking into hiring business coach or a business program, and in the end we went talked to one for a few times.
End, we didn't.
In the end, we didn't. So scrap number 11. But what we did do was decide that we could do this internally and get the system in place and learn it ourselves and implement ourselves. And we kind of tasked you as being the business coach in a way to learn.
Yeah, what we did was pay me to do it.
So if you don't, like, we had an internal resource that could be the business coach. If you don't have that, then you're going to need to hire somebody outside because it is a lot of time and effort to learn it and implement it and everything else. But now, having been through it ourselves personally, it's done amazing
wonders.
Things for our business. And I can't imagine where we'd be at if we didn't do it.
And we're just scratching the surface.
And we're just starting, still, right? We're not even a full year into it, and it's awesome. But so from our past business experience and education and strategy and all that stuff that we already had, I believe could give value to people. Add in what we've learned over this last year through our system.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that now we're at a position where we could pass that along and effectively help others as well. So if you're interested in that, Ted's Media can help you with that as well. Number 12, hire another crew. I know some guys personally, like guys that are clients of ours or customers of our contractors who struggle with this every year. They're like on the verge of, right? Like they're so slammed themselves with a single crew that they're like, I should really try to do another crew. But they're not confident that they'll be able to keep that second crew as busy as they are now.
It is tough.
But you'll never know unless you do it. Yeah. And odds are if you are slammed, like if you're booking 8 months out, okay, well then you probably end up booking 2 crews 4 months out. Like you still have a pretty good buffer if it's that busy in your market and you're staying that busy and the calls are coming in and you're having to turn down work and everything else. Well, that second crew is probably gonna be able to rock and roll. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, it is something like it's something you're afraid of because what if they're not? What if they're not busy? How do I pay those guys if there isn't jobs coming in?
You charge for estimates.
You should. There you go. Refer to 1 through 11. But you just don't know until you do it, and then once you do it, then the work will come. If you're already that busy already, you will stock up that second crew.
Yeah, I mean they're
increase your capacity and then fill it.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And then maybe at the same time you do need to hire that sales guy. Like maybe that's what needs to happen to keep those 2
That's
crews.
a big jump. That's scary.
That's
huge super
jump.
scary.
It's a huge jump. But then you like with 2 crews, now you need somebody to organize the jobs too.
Project manager.
Project manager / sales / whatever. Like, and or
Yep.
maybe that's you now. Maybe you have to get off the tools to make this move. But multiple crews does complicate things quite a bit. It's not just keeping them busy, but there's a whole organizational aspect, a quality of work aspect that needs to be covered, and so on and so forth. Your overhead increases, so you cover that, but also does your ability or your capacity to make profit also increases.
I
So-
feel like going from 1 crew to 2 crew is a big jump, and 2 crews to 3 crews is less of a jump, and 3 to 4. It gets less because you technically have to find less, right?
Yes.
Like you're doubling the amount of jobs you have to find in the beginning,
Sure.
but then you're not.
Well, and you
to go
can
to 3.
amortize those additional overhead costs of the people you need to hire to even organize it. So if you end up hiring a project manager or a salesperson or something to do the 2 crews, that same person can probably manage the 3rd crew as well. So all of a sudden your costs are like kind of distributed a little bit more amongst the crews.
It's a little softer.
Right. Number 13 is say no to customers.
Yeah. Screw you, customer.
It's pretty.
We don't want your money.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot of power in knowing you don't have to have their money. There's a lot of powers. I don't know if power is the right word.
I think you're right. I think it's power.
There's a lot of leverage.
Confidence.
A lot of leverage in not having to win that job.
Work with the people you want to work with.
Yeah.
This is just like a general thing of like, don't be afraid, because so many people get caught up in like, I just have to say yes to everything the customer wants because the customer's right and I need to do this and I can't afford to lose a job.
I have a
can't
mortgage,
afford to
I got
take a
5
risk and
kids.
whatever else. But if the customer is doing things that are not sitting well with you and they're making requests that are not reasonable, it's okay to say no.
Yep.
And if you have a bad vibe about a customer, it's okay to say no and not take a job.
Bad vibes.
So if there's ever like, I'm a big proponent of your trusting your gut, and if your gut's telling you something's off, like, has your gut ever failed you?
No. Did you see all
Except
of
for
that
after
hot
the
sauce
hot
that I
wings.
ate?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, wings after that. It failed. But I don't remember times where, well, I guess maybe you'd never know, but like every time that I have had a gut feel and not trusted it, it's burned me.
Yeah.
Intuition is a sixth sense that is real.
Mm-hmm.
So trust it. Say no if it doesn't feel right, and that's okay.
Yep.
It's empowering to be able to say no.
Yep, for sure.
Number 14, stick to your price. For all the reasons above, you have a lot of costs you have to cover. Your overhead, your profit.
Once you've figured out your price, stick to it.
Right. So for you to go out there and be like, and figure out what you need to charge to make all these things happen.
And then some, so the business grows.
Right. If you then do not have the confidence to stick to what you've discovered, then what good have you done?
Yeah.
I need to charge $30,000 in this job in order to pay myself, pay my staffers, pay my overhead, pay my profit, all these things. And then the customer's like, well, can you do it for 25? And you're like, sure. well, what did you just
had
do?
$5,000 to just
You axed
give
off
away?
all your profit and a chunk of your overhead. Like, you've lost money now. Like,
Yeah.
So the customer didn't do all that effort and math to figure out what you needed to make on that job to do it. They're just hunting for a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a bargain?
No.
Are you the giant tiger of deck builders?
Oh.
Are you the bargain shop, the dollar store, the Dollar General?
Man, could you imagine if you started a business, a deck building business, and you were like, dollar decks,
Dollar decks.
the
All
dollar
day long.
store of decks.
So figure your price out. Have some confidence in it. Don't be afraid to say no to them requesting discounts. If they don't go with you, that's okay.
That
There
is
will be-
okay.
There will be another one right after them.
Do you
That'd
have
be
a
the
rebuttal?
next guy's problem.
Yeah. Is there a rebuttal that you can make to them though? Like what would you say if someone was like, can I get $5,000 off?
I would just say no.
Would you just say no? You've
I
already
don't know
said
that
no.
you feel like, I don't know that you need to go in and defend and have a huge rebuttal to it. If you feel the need to explain, like, I would leave it pretty high level and just say, like, unfortunately, we run a reputable business here. We have our costs figured out on what we need to make every job. This has been figured out to be as competitive as we have to be while still being able to run our business efficiently. So I can't discount it anymore, or else this is going to be a project that we're not going to enjoy doing nor make money on. And
if
you don't want
need,
that either.
If you need to get to that price, let's figure out something that
Sure.
we can axe.
Absolutely help them, because if it's a budget issue that they just don't have the 30, they've only got the 25.
Right.
Okay, well, that's fine. but you have to make the concession, not me.
If they
This
have-
is your deck, not my deck.
If they have the 30, you should pitch to them that we'll give $5,000 to charity.
Sure. But there's ways to maybe, if that's what they're after, is just reducing cost, sure, you can do that. But not by discounting and giving things away for free. That's not, because then you're on a job that you even hate being on. Now you're disgruntled the entire time. You took a job you're not happy with.
You're going to cut corners,
And you're like,
potentially.
it's not going to go well. The rest is going to go crappy for
No,
you.
you're going to feel like crap doing it.
And final one, Bryce, is to market yourself even when you're busy.
Advertise when you're busy, when you're slow. Advertise, advertise, advertise. I think we have a little bit of a bias towards advertising, but it does work.
Sure, maybe I have a bias because I believe in it.
Right.
And I
exactly.
think it's important. But I frequently see people say, no, I don't do any sort of advertising and marketing because I'm just busy from word of mouth.
I only do word of mouth.
And often what is actually happening is that they don't even understand that they're doing marketing and advertising.
Right. Right. They already put a wrap on their trailer.
Right.
That's advertising.
They have
All
a Facebook
year.
page and a website, and they put up lawn signs and they
Mhm.
have a trailer wrapped and everything else. Like, no, you are advertising. You just don't consider it to be advertising. I don't know what you're talking about. But for the ones who literally are like trying to fly under the radar and just work solely off referrals, fine. That works when the economy's hot and things are pumping. But when things slow down, where are you going to be? When the word of mouth slows down because of projects slow down,
Yep.
wouldn't you like to still be at the top of the game? Like,
Future-proof yourself.
if there's 30 deck builders in your market because things are going well right now, and when things slow down and they're boom, 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 a recession hits or something, not that that would ever happen,
Never.
and all of a sudden those 30 turn into 10, wouldn't you like to be one of the 10?
Right. Exactly.
So it's important to still be top of mind and relevant when things get tight as well.
Mhm.
Sure, you might be saying no to more jobs because you can't take more jobs. And I'm not suggesting you go out there and even throw a bunch of money into things when you don't need the work right now, but you still have to maintain a brand and maintain an image and maintain communication and be visible,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how busy you are.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is still important. So don't just quit just because you're busy.
Right. Don't quit. But even when it's even during the off season, you should be advertising. Like before you think you're going to get jobs.
Yes.
Because that's
And
just going to prep the season for you.
If you've built the reputation that, 100% of your business comes in through word of mouth, that's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
However, is it wrong to, if you earn more business or more reputation as a result of your efforts,
Mm-hmm.
that means you get to be more selective with those jobs potentially, or you get to charge more.
Right.
Or you get to add that second crew.
What?
Or just because you've maxed out your current capacity
Yep.
in your current world view, your current situation, does not mean there's not room for growth.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you're somebody who's just completely happy with taking what comes to them and you only have one to be one crew, and it doesn't matter if you do 100 jobs this year or 6 jobs this year, if you're impartial to it, then fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then don't do that. But I think a lot of these things we talked about are kind of geared towards those businesses that want to grow.
Right.
They don't
yeah.
want to just kind of, they're not just handymen doing things on the side, and if the money comes, the money comes, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Most of these people want to grow the business.
Well, this is part of operating costs too. That's one thing that we didn't tie back into it. It's not costing you money if you build it into your price during the season.
Yep.
Right? You can amortize it across all of your jobs in the season, and you can pay for all of your advertising for the entire year.
Yeah.
No problem.
The one thing the sign of a business that's about to go out of business is a business that cuts their advertising as a cost cutting measure.
Yep.
And you see it pretty frequently because, I don't know, maybe they don't understand or maybe they're not sure where else they can possibly save money. But when a business starts to get into trouble, you often see them axe their advertising budget first.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no logic in doing that.
You're just shutting the blinds.
Things are slow and sales are down. So quit advertising?
Yeah.
No, if anything, you need to, if you have any capacity to increase it,
That's like
increase or change what you're doing or something, but don't quit.
That's like locking
Good
the
Lord.
door.
Yeah. It's like there's a hole in the boat. Make it bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So never wise, in my opinion. So that was 15.
That was
Tyler,
15.
what'd you think?
Yeah.
Hey,
Made sense.
is that a valuable episode?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you like all of those?
Did.
What did you think of number 9?
What did you think of number 9?
To be honest, I don't remember which one was number
Take
9.
time off for your family.
For you. I was just messing with you.
I don't have to take time off. I take weekends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important.
We've settled into pretty solid 40-hour work weeks here
Yeah,
and taking time off.
exactly.
Sure. Okay, well, that's it for this episode. I guess next one's going to be 193, which puts us exactly 7 weeks out from 200.
Yeah, we
Which
might have
is-
to delay potentially. Maybe do
Depends.
some
We have some ideas, so
Some fan dangling. Tech Expo's coming up. We're gonna
yeah,
try to
we'd like to do it there.
That'd be nice to do it at Tech Expo.
Yeah,
Cough,
we'd really
cough.
like to do it there. So if anybody wants us to come to Deck Expo, let us know.
Yeah, right?
We'd
We're
love to do
open.
podcasts with you, especially 200.
200.
200. Make sure to
with our improved
new
video
and
capabilities.
improved.
What does that mean, 200? Does that mean we've done an episode a week for
200 weeks.
50? Like, we're coming up on 4 years?
52 weeks. Yeah.
There's been maybe a couple extra ones. No, but we never numbered those ones, the
Yeah.
extra ones.
No, the sponsored ones are never numbered.
Holy smokes, hey?
Yeah, 4 years.
You did the first year by yourself.
I believe that I started it in December, so it must be 4 years this December probably
Yeah.
is what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wild, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Episode 200, 4 years. Let's do it. Okay, Bryce, why don't you hit that button? Let's get this show on the road.
I'm Kyler, but yeah.
Bryce, usually Bryce.
It's not working.
Bryce.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.